Hello!
Hello.
I'm Liquid Garnet. I'm the smaller channel.
And I'm Key. I'm the artist of the channel.
So we're just gonna talk about an idea we had after watching a show that made us angry, and it has seemed to make the internet angry, so why not join in?
Yeah, and that specific show is Dragons 9 Realms. The Playmobil show.
Oh, it does. I'm sorry, season 1, they did subtle changes in season 2 where it doesn't feel that way, but there are some characters that are like, just like plasticky and chunky, and then their necks disappear.
Yeah.
So, we discussed ideas of sort of like a alternate universe rewrite that we would do with these characters, and for sort of like to test the waters on this channel, just like what of the redesigning the main 4, 5, I guess, because season 2, season 3, 5 kids.
Yeah.
The main cast had 6, and they set that up to do movies.
So, re-explain if you haven't watched Dragons 9 Realms. It's pretty just much like a money-making show that is built off of How to Train Your Dragon 1 through 3, including the show Race to the Edge on Netflix if you want to go watch it.
It has a good concept, and it's pretty much like, let's have How to Train Your Dragons in modern day. And that sounds interesting, but it doesn't do much with that premise.
It doesn't. It feels nothing like if they weren't told by the intro of the first episode that this was connected to How to Train Your Dragon. It feels nothing like it. The characters don't feel like How to Train Your Dragon characters. The actual dragon doesn't feel like a dragon, like none of them do.
Well, I can justify that they're dragons. Are they good dragons? There's only 2 that I'm okay with the design of. So, do you want to start with Tom?
Yeah, Tom Cullerson, the main character in the show, he's very stiff. Not like stiff as in like, just like his character doesn't feel right for the main character or for like in the world that they're trying to present.
Also, like, he's trying so hard to be Hiccup without understanding, like, Hiccup.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, like, they talk about, like, haha, you found the polar bear exhibit, which, okay, sure, because this is a dragon show, we'll just say he has the special Hiccup power and didn't get mauled by a polar bear, but we're supposed to get the idea that he's sad because he had to move with his mom's work without much of a justification for.
Yeah, like the justification for why, like the main idea of moving because of your mom's work to this suspicious, mysterious rift doesn't make sense.
Well, no, it does because you have a single mom and her job clearly needs her to relocate. It's just there needs to be more of it because he changes from, I'm sad, I'm gonna go be sneaky,
and try to follow my mom like a lost puppy.
Yeah, and then go back to being good boy to, like, he's too nice, which is super strange because Hiccup was a nerd nice.
Well, he was a nerd, but he had sarcastic and like tendencies, like in like one episode, I don't remember which one, but he kind of had like a smarts battle with fish legs, and he had like very dissing comebacks, like, oh, you know this, but I know this kind of things.
I feel like for like our AU rewrite of Tom is that just like Hiccup, he contrasts his dragon, which we are kind of just like redesigning Thunder into being an entirely different dragon.
Also not entirely different. It makes more sense with the show.
Well, with the idea of the show, and like if he's like if he's supposed to be a descendant of Hiccup, and this is supposed to be like a modern-day parallel of the story of How to Train Your Dragon, then it should feel like a modern-day parallel in a different way. And the thing is that Tom, besides being a kid, does not clash or feel outcasted by the adults in the Nine Realms. It does not feel that way, where Hiccup was clearly like a hard contrast between the characters in the Vikings, and Tom blends in.
Yeah, he, like, to Hiccup, he did not blend in with the original movie. He was a scrawny little kid. He couldn't shoot, he couldn't swing, he couldn't pick up many things, but he was really smart. Well, in this show, we've got a child that can literally push an entire boulder.
Yeah.
And everybody loves, which, what?
Like, the only person who doesn't like him is the chief of security, which makes sense because 90% of the problems have been Tom. Which we're going to keep that, but more of a justified, like, actual teenager way. So do you want to explain?
So,
like, your current, like, redesign of Tom?
In like, the main redesign of Tom, I made him, first of all, I made him look older than he does actually in the show. I tried to make him look like an actual, like maybe just out of middle school straight to, like, freshman in high school. I also made him look really sad, because what they explain in, like, also spoilers, they explain in the Spiderwing episode, his dad left him. They left him and his mom without reason. He doesn't know why. And so he's never had a proper, like, father figure. So he's very weird around, like,
adults that aren't his mom, which that doesn't come across clearly in this show.
It doesn't come across clearly in the show, and that's what I would also change. He wouldn't be very trustful around adults, even, like, his mom in general.
Well, I think, and also with, we're changing the main reason why they moved to the Rift, different from the Nine Realms. So if you haven't watched the Nine Realms, or you've watched, a critique of Nine Realms that isn't ours, the instigation of why these scientists go to this rift is that essentially a comet hit it, and now there's a canyon where a foundation that may or may not be evil is doing science-y. In ours,
we're completely changing it.
Well, we're
keeping the rift aspect, but other than that, it's...
Well, whether or not it's a comet, we're pretty much saying a mysterious instigating force causes a planetary earthquake, and if that wasn't bad, it makes all the dragons be like, surface time, we're back.
Yeah. And so that makes, like, it's not happening just, like, in America or, like, wherever this show happens. Like, it's happening all over the world.
Yeah, so you're having dragons, like, in the cities, in the streets, trying to returning to their biomes and realizing humans are there, or that, like, global warming and just changes over, like, 1,300 years has just left them in a place they don't understand, so the dragons are confused and angry, and when animals are confused and angry, they attack. And humans, who clearly Hiccup sent Hiccup was like, humans aren't ready for dragons, are super not ready for dragons now.
Yeah. So, the new Icarus is a giant, like, government collaboration where they get, like, they get together some of, like, the best, like, biologists and scientists and geologists and whatever they can get together.
People with weird, like, cryptozoology degrees because they don't even know what they're dealing with anymore.
Yeah, they all get together and they put them near this, like, local rift on, like a government sanctioned area and tell them, figure it out.
And in addition to figure it out, they've already collected, like, 4 or 5 dragons that they're going to study.
As, like, the basic building point.
Yeah, and like, the initial idea, like, for our episode 1 is that the parents aren't going to tell the kids, but we're just going to have the dragons get out, and then that be the main plot of season 1.
Like, the main plot of like, the kids think they're here their parents are just here to analyze the rift, But then at like the end of like episode 1, they're like, oh, we're here for, our parents are here for more. They're here to understand dragons and figure out how to deal with them as well.
Yeah.
And I also think that maybe Tom is a little angry at dragons.
Well, yeah, because like, for Tom, dragons are the reason why he had to uproot from the last bit of life he knew after his dad left.
Yeah, which is like, it makes sense from a character standpoint. Like, your dad already left, so you already have trust issues, and you're very close to what you can still have. And then you're told up and at 'em, you gotta get out of here.
Like literally the deadly Zibblebacks are coming to our doorsteps.
Yeah, and so he's angry, and
we're making him angry so he can have more of a personality contrast that matches Toothless from the first movie and Race to the Edge.
Yeah.
So we can give more of the playful personality to what we're redesigning, recasting, reimagining what his dragon would be.
Yeah, so his dragon, which in 9 Realms is called Thunder, which I'm renaming to Sunbreaker, because it's a cooler name, and Thunder is so overused in, like, fantasy, like, stories.
Well, it's just kind of like,
it's very
my dragon does lightning powers, what should I name him? And it would have been, like, interesting if he named him actually, like, Odin or Thor, but no thought from Tom, so might as well give...
He has no brain. Tom has no brain. Anyways. His dragon, kind of keeping with the main character theme, but still changing it up, is a Nightlight. It's a very, very long, almost all of the Night Fury is washed out. You could pretty much call it a Light Fury, but it isn't.
Yeah,
it still holds its electricity capabilities, but what I changed, because, you know, in the end of Hidden Realm, they all get locked underground.
Yeah.
And what we've seen from, like, actual, like, natural evolution is when things are underground for a long time, they either lose their eyesight or grow the ability to make their own light.
Yeah.
So,
and they also either get paler because they don't like their body doesn't like have sun to process color, or they get all the way darker to blend in with the darkness.
Yeah.
So you kind of went for a more like Nightlight, almost evolved back a Light Fury bioluminescent.
Yes.
Doggo cat.
Yes, like Doggo cat. Sunbreaker still does electricity, but it's gonna be something very special about it, where it's very, very conductive. Where how with Thunder they just like seem to create it. With Sunbreakers they might have to actually like pull from somewhere else.
We joked about maybe Sunbreaker being more dog-like and wagging its tail in a sense of generating its own static as an option too. In the comments you can tell us whether that's a dumb idea or not.
Yeah, and so this is like where the parallels of the Hiccup and Toothless with our version of Tom and Thunder, where how Hiccup wanted to socialize with the dragons, but Toothless was like, no, get away from me. It's how Tom is like, get away from me, you scare me, I don't like you. And Sunbreaker is, let me play, I want to play, you look fun.
You're a human, and you're clearly not the human that put me in the cage, so you must be fun. So it's kind of like that Forbidden Friendships segment from the movie done in reverse, where like, Sunbreaker will not leave Tom alone, and Tom's like, I don't want you to go back in the cage, but you scare me, please leave, go, I have to hide you now.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I'm
like, a lot of our ideas for Tom character development wise is for him to like work as a team with through work through his problems through the problems of the other kids, and then like trust and have like a team, which they're trying to do in this show, but they're immediately pushing the good boy main character on Tom, where I don't feel like that should be the case. I think like Tom needs to really struggles with being a leader.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go by how we got introduced by the characters. So the next character is June Wong. And June Wong in the original 9 Realms show is, I think they're trying to do like Astrid, but if Astrid was fish legs. Yes, if Astrid was fish legs,
and like the personalities don't blend well, and I understand what they're trying. I think I understand what they're trying to do. I put so much faith like in the writing team that like something was lost.
Yeah, something was lost in translation.
Yeah.
So in the show, she gets a dragon, which is like if the hideous Zibbleback got the power of
like a Skuldrin in the other one.
Yeah. Like,
but doesn't look like either of them, and it's called the Mist Twister. Funny thing about the Mist Twister, it had a beta 3D model, and you can see it on the wiki, and you used it for the concept art of your redesign, at least for like the face.
Yeah, at least for the face.
And I'm assuming that they didn't want 2 black and white dragons on one team, and that's the reason why they didn't go with the original Mist Twister design. But I like that because the current Mist Twister, like, to be fair, there are bright dragons. There's the Death Song, there's like the fireworms. There's just something about the contrast in the show's Mist Twister that is unnatural and not in a fantasy way.
Yeah. So, and also, one thing which is like a big continuity issue with the How to Train Your Dragons, Wu Wei is a 2-headed dragon, but, so, in what you know from Barf and Belch and Rough and Tough, there needs to at least be 2 riders, or if you're going to ride it with a single rider, you need special equipment to, like, rein it.
Yeah, we see in the movies and in the shorts that there is, like, an adult Viking that does have a hideous Zibbleback, but he has essentially 2 massive horse reins to keep them in line. Where June, either because the Mist Twister is so smart and such a good boy that she can ride one head at a time and it be safe.
Yeah, which I don't like. It's a big continuity issue. And
it's not even a continuity issue. It feels like a biology issue because, like, the one thing Race to the Edge in the movies never let you forget is that dragons are wild animals.
Yeah, there was a term. They're tamed, not domesticated.
Yeah.
Which means at any time, if the dragon doesn't like you, it could just leave. We were shown that multiple times with Hookfang and Snotlout, where they have like this on and off again like relationship with each other, where Hookfang tries to run away a lot, but keeps coming back just because of like Snotlout or something. I don't know.
Like Snotlout apologizes or saves its life, and it's like one more time.
Yeah. So I'm on the way of changing June and Wu and Wei. I'm making June into like a very
like Tom, you're making her more closed off to the world instead of like weird, like she actually like
if Astrid was given a phone and told hide in the corner for a bit.
Yeah, that's her outwards personality. We were thinking of keeping, because we thought it was hilarious of the unicorn poster in June's room, that she still likes all this mythology stuff, but she pushes it back because her mom's a scientist.
Yeah. She's very much like not like good girl, but like at least I want to prove that I'm something to my mom. Which is like, that's like the main overarching theme that I think they tried to do with Nine Realms but didn't work, was that I'm trying to prove something to my parents.
Like, Nine Realms, because the seasons are so short, it should have been all plot, no breaks. Because they do, like, filler episodes that, like, if you're gonna, like, in my opinion, filler is good for either world development or character development.
This is such a short show.
This is such a short show that we're missing critical pieces of understanding, especially with season 2. The plot hole with season 2 that infuriates me. With how did you get those saddles?
Yeah. So it could. Yeah. So back to June. June. The way I want her to be is like I'm trying to prove something to my mom, but I'm still trying to keep like myself. So she's very of a sarcastic, funny, but toward like more of her mom's work, she's like a kind of like tries to understand it. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. But once she meets the new version of Wu and Wei, which I redesigned as a snake,
which, because we were actually looking at to see if any other dragons were based on Oriental mythology about dragons in How to Train Your Dragon, and there are a couple, so we leaned more towards that. You would say?
Yeah, we leaned towards like I don't know.
It's more like giant winged serpent versus trying to kind of like slap Oriental dragons on a European dragon.
Yeah, and which was really funny because the snake I was basing it off of, on the trivia, it said that it's theorized that the head is based off of an Oriental dragon, which is a big haha, and I think that's the main reason I picked the snake.
Yeah.
I still kept the two-headed thing just because it's cool, and it could have been like a cool like story arc for the snake of, it's not like other girls, it's got 2 heads.
Yeah, we have not. If you guys want us to like flesh out like the redesigns of the dragons or this kind of like reimagining of the show, we'll make it. We are debating on whether this version of June's dragon is still a mist twister, or just a, like how snakes sometimes have, a 2-headed variation of a single-headed dragon.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I'm thinking that once June meets the new Wu and Wei, she feels understanded, like you're trying to blend in with something you can't control. Like she's trying to blend in like with her like mom's work and the smart people around her, but she knows she's not smart in the scientific sense.
Yeah, in the science way.
And she like emphasizes with the dragon, because the dragon is trying to blend in with its counterparts because of its 2 head, it's not really accepted.
Yeah, so because the one thing they put on this show is that Wu and Wei only accepts a rider that respects it and respects it back. So if you're a dragon that's like an outcast and a person that feels like an outcast, you're going to try to respect at least each other.
Yeah. And then, yeah. So, these next 2 characters, okay, so D'Angelo's the next one who showed up, but I really want to actually talk about Alex, because Alex also kind of...
Alex is best girl.
Alex is best girl, and that's the one who I changed the least.
Yeah, like 9 Realms, like, Alex did nothing wrong.
Alex did nothing wrong.
That's the one, like...
Alex's story prior to the show makes sense. Her ability with, like, she's like kind of like the opposite of June, how I want to write June in a sense, but I'm pretty much keeping her character the same. She understands tech, she does not understand fantasy. She understands the math, she understands the science, but because she's so scared of, like, the outdoors, because she got bit by a dog,
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
If that's even spoilers.
That's spoiler. She got bit by a dog and she just hates the outdoors because of that.
She just hates the world because dog bit her.
Yeah, but I mean, she was told that the dog was just liked her, and so she's also like, I don't trust people.
Yeah,
but that's just a very like undertone. It's like
that's an undertone of like she can't trust people because of dog.
Just because of dog. So I completely skipped over. Alex is a shy person, good at tech, and her dragon is called a Featherhide. Wanna guess why?
Well, it's implied that the Featherhide, or at least through the show, Alex mentions the story of the Quetzalcoatl. And a lot of interpretations of the Quetzalcoatl is this massive feathery snake that kind of like feeds off the like sacrificial hearts of humans because the Quetzalcoatl gave humans blood. I'm butchering Aztec mythology there.
Yeah, there's a mythology nutshell person out there who could explain it 100 times better.
Well, supposedly feathery is because it's very similar to, if you remember the dragon, the Changeling. It can camouflage.
Yeah, it's like the Changeling. It can camouflage because feathers. But it has. That's also. I had no peaks with. I had no like ifs with Alex. Alex's design was great. I loved her character. I liked her. Hello. I liked her character. I liked her story arc. I changed around the clothes she wore, but other than that, it's the fine. But I had issues with how they did the Featherhide.
Well, to be fair, like, you did not change feathers all that much. It's just you wanted more feathers on a Featherhide.
Yeah, because it's a Featherhide, but it's got like 6 feathers.
Like on its head and then 2 on its tail.
Yeah. So I changed it that it's a lot more feather. Its entire tail is cloaked. Its entire tail is cloaked with feathers. It's got 3 from each side feathers protruding from its neck, and its wings are completely feathered. And also, the thing about Featherhide, they can also mimic sound, but they never go over that in the show much, and I want that to be a bigger aspect.
I want, to have more communication between Feathers and Alex and, like, Feathers and other humans by kind of like the way parrots and some other animals will, like, they don't understand what a word means, but they understand the meaning between some sounds. Like, a dog will always know what food means.
Yeah, food.
But they wouldn't know, like the entire sentence up to the word food.
Yeah.
And we see that in the show where, like Feathers misinterprets, like, the ding of, like, a microwave as food, please.
Yeah. Which is it's great, but they never go over it again. And what I would do with the Featherhide, that June, like, tries, like, Alex, not June, Alex.
That one.
Yeah, the one with braids.
Yes.
That, she tries to, like, teach, but, like, set, like, meaning. Like,
have you ever seen the videos with the pets with the buttons?
Yeah, like the pet with the button. She tries to do that, but with the dragon speaking.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And also what I want to happen is that this is just like a personal choice because she's favorite girl. If I would want her to get more badass as the show went on.
Well, as she, like, becomes less afraid of the world, she kind of, like, fulfills an I don't care anymore idea, because she has that when, like, she has those moments in the show, like,
where she's very sarcastic.
Like, if dragons did exist, we would just make them into leather belts and hamburgers.
I'm like, dang, you're not wrong though. I would want her to adopt that mentality more often.
She would become that meme of, like, I don't want to touch grass. I want to see violence done to very, very rich people.
Yes. And then actually, we have 2 more left because I decided something.
Yes, and I just think for the funsies and that the show implies this, that for her to go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about D'Angelo first.
Yeah. D'Angelo,
He's actually taking more of a hiccup character development arc than Tom is in our rewrite.
yeah, he's taking on more of the hiccup element of, like...
of healing an injured dragon and having issues with his dad.
Yeah. So, in the original show, his dad's chief of security and his mom is, like, chief of, like...
Something... She pushes the button on the computer and teaches the kids.
Yes. She presses the button and it does something and then she teaches the children. I don't know what her thing is.
Well, if you want us to do a more thorough rewrite, we will give proper roles and backstories to the parents too.
Yeah, we'll have to do that too. But he's very much like a yes man, but to his dad. And I kept that with his redesign, but I kept it as like a yes man with a purpose.
Yes, kind of, yes.
Yeah, like yes man with a purpose.
Like he has the idea of like, oh, because my dad is chief of security and he's such like a big role model to me, like something must go wrong if I don't like follow in his footsteps. But he also has the more hiccup from the second movie arc of like, I'm scared of my dad, but I'm afraid I'm becoming my dad.
Yeah. Which is like an understandable and it's
a fear people have.
Yeah, it's a fear of I like don't want to become your parents, especially to like people who have like to say this, his dad is not abusive. His dad is just very tough.
It's just very tough, very much like, oh, you have a friend, I don't like your friend, which is hilarious when you're on this tiny island with only 3 other kids.
Yeah, I don't like your friend. Well, who am I going to hang out with, father? Which is a very...
Yeah. And the main point is that he's kind of having with Plowhorn, which we're just going to keep the name. And
Plowhorn is an okay name.
We made Plowhorn more bug-like because it feels like if you're going to make a dragon with bug attributes, take more from it.
Yeah, take more from...
Yeah, so pretty much, like, D'Angelo will have more time with Plowhorn to heal it because, like, the scientists aren't trying or Plowhorn is too aggressive for the adults to get close. So it becomes a thing of, like, Plowhorn gets out so D'Angelo tries to heal it, and then it becomes a thing of, like, if I need to obey my dad and get the dragon back in the cage, but, like... every second this dragon's out of the cage, it's better. So it's a conflict between his morals and what like he thinks his dad would do. And that's his character development. So when he works with the team, he's like, okay, maybe we can tame the dragons here so they don't have to go back. Type of
that's the type of thing. Other than that, Plowhorn stays the same. He gets an extra pair of legs. And maybe Plowhorn gains more of a wild animal, like what baby animals, not like baby animals.
Like there's phenomenons when certain animals, to be fair, like Plowhorn is a dude dragon, we think.
D'Angelo calls...
No, Plowhorn is a she.
Yeah, Plowhorn is a she.
So pretty much, there is a phenomenon in the world where if an animal loses their child, not saying that Plowhorn did, that they will adopt the nearest thing that they think they can raise.
Yeah. And I would kind of have that kind of phenomenon, but it's more of like whenever like D'Angelo gets like anxiety and tries to revert into the yes man personality, Plowhorn's like, what's up? Yeah, kind of like a little not like puppy, but
like a support dog.
Yeah, like a support dragon.
Yeah.
And then the final character Eugene Wong.
Yes, we're doing it. We're gonna give Lord Farquaad a dragon.
Gonna give Lord Farquaad a dragon. Okay, I might be biased, and I really like Eugene.
That's gonna be a hot take in the dragon fandom, you know that.
A hot take, Eugene, kind of a good character. But I think it's because I like what's his face from Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah, like the rich kid.
The rich kid who becomes good boy, that stereotype, that's good. And that's what I kind of want to happen with Eugene. I don't think it will happen in the canon show, but with our random reimagination, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, but the one thing we're giving Eugene that the main canon 4 kids don't have, and that we see very little of in the show and in the movie, is a dragon, I guess trainer, because he wouldn't be able to ride it, with a smaller dragon.
Yeah, he's getting a small dragon. It's based off of, actually, I had some grievances with when I was trying to.
Every small dragon looks like a terrible terror.
Yeah, that's a.
Or the new small dragon, the spider wings, but like I don't think he needed to get that.
Really, no, not the spider wings. So, I based it off of the dragon had like. They were all like variations of terrible terrors. So what I had to do is I had to like find a dragon from the mobile game and then like miniaturize it.
Yeah.
So what we got, hold on, I don't even remember the name of it.
I think it was called like the bolt bite.
Yeah, bolt bite.
And you thought it was like, oh, bolt, like the bolts on machinery, so it likes to chew that.
Yeah.
But no, it's like bolt as in fast, then bite.
Yeah. So it also has something to do with electricity, because on the wiki it said it's often like confused with a squirrel.
Yeah.
Which so his dragon, we're gonna keep it bolt bite because we can. It's a fast, very like kind of like if Hook Fang was tiny and a baby. Just wants to go everywhere, wants to do everything. But it needs some restraint.
Yeah.
And Eugene is kind of gonna be that restraint.
Well, Eugene has to realize he needs to be the restraint and not baby it, because essentially Eugene being late to the picking or having a dragon pick him, he's just like, I'm gonna get a dragon, and just like, this is my dragon.
It's a tiny thing that likes to bite me. Which is also what I would change with the main thing about the show that we learned on. It's G-rated,
which is like, yes, technically G-rated is larger than Y7, and technically a G-rated show should be the equivalent of a PG movie, but doing more research, when you get a G-rated show, the marketing point of it is that it's supposed to be almost more like a sitcom. It's given more to sitcoms and like comedy and cartoons, and the fact that there is like fun for all ages, little violence, which is very like, it's very hit or miss on whether Nine Realms can accomplish that, because in the first 2 seasons I'm just like,
well, where's the violence?
Well, the violence, like, I feel like you can do a dragon show without violence, but there is not any compelling conflict either. So I'd almost want to give it, like, go back to the Y7 and give it an FB rating so we could have more, at least more intense flight scenes than what we got so far.
Yeah. That's,
like, just, like, for fear.
For fear. For the Netflix fear rating. But so, what I would also have happen with Eugene, and maybe with Tom over time, I don't know, is that they would get scarring from the electricity, because
you don't feel that, and like Hiccup, that the damage is symbolic with Toothless, but like there is a risk to living in a world with dragons, and besides, oh, my hair stands up a bit, there's no, like, risk of, like, I think there's a point where the mom says in the show, like, you need a handle that you could get electrocuted, meaning that, like, you're on the back of something that makes its own electricity, and, like, your heart never gives out is not, like, something that should, like, it needs to be covered with a little more seriousness, because they did with Hiccup.
There was much more seriousness about, like, the dangers of riding a dragon.
Like, yeah, and that there were just some dragons that, like, you just can't ride.
Yeah. That's why under the wiki, some dragons are labeled untrainable.
Which, the wiki lies, because Eret, son of Eret. And if you know, you know.
Because Eret, son of Eret.
You know, if you know, you know.
Yeah. So... yeah. So... what I would have happen is because it's a bolt bite, it moves fast, and when it bites, it sends a surge of electricity.
Like, very similar to Thunder in the show, but tiny.
Like
parrot-sized.
So, what I think what would happen with Eugene, over, like, the story, bolts would get angry at him and bite him.
And and Eugene has to deal, like, as a spoiled rich kid. Like, June is also a spoiled rich kid, but she, like, bottles it up inside with angst, like, but Eugene just lets his, like, influenza fly.
He lets his influencer, my dad's a writer, and my mom's really, really, really famous. And my dad may or may not like me, but I'm still rich.
Yeah.
Which is, like, also Camp Cretaceous, that's what... Camp Cretaceous had that too.
We have a crack theory about Camp Cretaceous, and if you get us to, like, 110 likes, we'll do a continuation of this AU and tell us our weird, like, conspiracy theory of why the Nine Realm is so bad in relation to Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Eugene will be more a part of the main cast, because it's implying, at least in season 3, that he's coming back. He's gonna get out of that closet somehow.
He's gonna get out of that closet. No, he got out of the closet in the last episode of spoilers. Last episode of season 2, he got out of the closet and I think started rifling through June's stuff. So.
Oh yeah, because he saw the picture of the bubble horn. He was like, cute, but I have to hide it for the masculinity.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, stupid Plowhorn, aka we stole the model.
I don't even, like, when actually comparing it to the Dragon and Rescue Riders, I get what they're going for, and to be fair, like, nature is weird. You can have a cute thing next to a horrific thing and it still be a thing. It's just like the Bubblehorn episode was the Night Terrors episode done bad.
Yeah.
So,
It's just a bad... Anyways.
Any other things you think we should talk about the critiques or be brought up about the AU?
One small thing that if we get to if you like this episode and just tell us you want more, I would give the parents more of a spine.
The parents, because the thing that this is essentially a planetary reemergence of dragons, and currently all the people of the world is like, we don't know what to do, so we're gonna have to kill it, that, like, the parents would not revert back to Vikings, but be so much more, like, on edge of, like, our kids are disappearing for hours a day, not supervised. And actually, in our AU, we're actually going to have an adult that's supposed to be supervising them.
Yeah, there's going to be an adult that'll show up, and they're supposed to be supervising them. Not gonna let that out, so maybe it'll...
Like, special spoilers in regards to our thoughts on Tom's being a descendant of Hiccup, and...
That's also really weird. That's, like, a big plot hole, but that plot hole is gonna get filled, apparently.
There's also, like, I don't like when, like, oh, I'm the descendant of so-and-so, and being... Because, like, there are very few shows who can make that point correctly, and I prefer the story where your lineage does not define you. versus
Follow in the footsteps. Between like follow in the footsteps stories could go great.
but it also leads in a bit to like things that I don't like implying that some traits or personalities are genetic. Like right now, because they're like, oh, like Tom's just an instantly good dragon rider because he found thunder, and like Hiccup is the good dragon rider boy, and that's just not.
Yeah. Him being an instantly good dragon rider doesn't make sense. Hiccup wasn't an instant. He didn't go up to Toothless and was like, I'm your friend, even though I just tried to kill you. And Toothless wasn't just like, you're my best friend now. It took time, which is like what's amazing about it. Time progresses. Anyways.
Yeah, which isn't something we really see much in like this show.
Yeah, apparently one season's like 1 week, apparently. I don't know. That was really weird.
Yeah.
Other than that...
Which again, that means like so much has happened in 2 weeks that I feel like should have taken place at least over a month. So...
Yeah, I think that's all I have.
So yeah, that's all we have for like at least the main canon characters. And if you like this episode, go and give us a like or give us a comment on what you think of our designs or how we would change these characters, and debate us on whether like giving Eugene a small dragon would be worth it or not.
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
And
but I really like the rich boy turned nice boy stereotype.
If you've also seen Nine Realms or seen other people's critiques of Nine Realms, what do you think would be an interesting thing to see happen in the contrast of having like dragons in the modern day?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.